The controversy relates to a subject matter which is already under investigation with the CBI. That the original promoters were arm twisted at the behest of a minister in the government to transfer the shareholding to a Singapore-based company called the Maxis. I am not getting into all those facts. But there are three facts of that transaction which are relevant for the FIPB clearance. The first fact was that the FDI limit in telecom sector is 74%. And therefore it was normally expected that the maximum sale that would take place would be 74%.
Okay.
In this case, the sale takes place of almost 100% of the equity. 99.3% of the equity. The second factor, that the amount of money at which the whole transaction takes place is in the vicinity of about 5,000 crores. Ordinarily, 26% which was transferred to an Indian shareholder should have been in the vicinity of about 1,200 crores. It is transferred for an amount of rupees 34 crores. It's a disproportionately low amount. Thirdly, as far as Maxis is concerned, they had contemporaneously in 2006 informed through their merchant bankers, the Singapore Stock Exchange, that they intended to acquire almost 100%. In the face of these three facts, a legitimate doubt appears that the Indian nominee could only be a front, and that this was really an acquisition through a front of the entire 100%. In view of this doubt, if the papers are placed before this House, the FIPB clearance had to clear all these facts. And it was highly doubtful whether such a permission could have been granted, because prima facie the facts did indicate that the transfer was not of 74, but breaching the FDI guidelines, it was a transfer of 99.3 or even more of that percentage. That's a matter which can be separately dealt with, whether the FIPB clearance was rightly or wrongly granted. But what appears to have raised some doubts is, on the eve of the FIPB clearance, and I do not know whether the Honourable Minister is fully aware of this, some transactions have taken place between the company transferring the shares and somebody connected to the Honourable Minister. I will refrain from taking any names. The nature of that transaction is, and this is borne out by the annual reports of various companies, that there is a company by the name of Osbridge Holding and Investment Private Limited. These facts have been mentioned in the media. The person connected owns, as of 2006, 18,000 out of the 19,000 shares in that company. That's 94% holding. This company also has transactions with another company which is called Advantage Strategic Consultant Private Limited. Now, on the eve of this transfer taking place and the FIPB clearance being applied for and being granted, you suddenly find from the balance sheet of 2006 of Advantage, there is a payment of a certain amount, 26,444,000, a calculated amount, not a broad amount, made to Aircel Televentures Limited. On the same balance sheet, there are three other payments. These three other payments are made to Chess Management Service Private Limited, Chess Healthcare Solution Private Limited, Halidon Marketing Private Limited. These are all companies concerned with the same gentleman whose name I am not taking. So in 2006, this connectivity was established. Now the balance sheets available in the annual reports also indicate that Osbridge owns 66.67% shares of Advantage. When this payment of 26 lakh odd is paid to Aircel, there is a corresponding increase of 1,80,000 shares in the share capital of Aircel. Whether shares are eventually issued or not issued is a separate issue. Now, these are documents which have come into public domain. The connection of these two companies, and the more I get the document, the connection becomes all the more suspicious. In 2006, what was the connection between Osbridge and Advantage? The annual return of 2006-07 of Osbridge is their email ID is also the same as the email ID of Advantage. Shareholding connections, payment connections, email ID connections. Now here is the case, and I'm just placing the case in a nutshell, and my case is a little different from what appeared in some newspapers. Whether there is delay or there is no delay, that's a separate issue, I'm not going into it. There was a highly doubtful FIPB clearance which may or may not have been granted. Did somebody concerned with the Honorable Minister have any financial transactions through a corporate mask with the companies which were involved in this transaction? If that is so, it raises serious doubts, and if that is not so, this particular doubt in my mind really ought to be clear. Thank you, sir.